We've chosen this Hot Wings maple. It's an 1.5 inch Hot Wings maple. Very hardy trees. They don't need a lot of water, a lot of maintenance. They have a bright pink samara that stays on the tree most of the year. It looks like a flower. It's very attractive, but unlike a flower that will fall off in a couple of weeks, this will stay on the tree for most of the summer until the latter part of the summer where it dries up and they fall off the tree and as a seed. So what we've done here is we've just we're planting a ball and burlap. So this tree comes with burlap that is holding the dirt back, or holding the dirt, keeping it from breaking up in the root ball, and then it's set inside a wire cage, and that just maintains the integrity of the root ball. Trees are real fragile when it comes to disturbing the roots. One advantage to ball and burlap is it allows you to plant a bigger tree a lot of times, because we can move more of the tree, more of the root systems collected in that ball and burlap. You want to be real careful with the ball and burlap trees, because if the soil breaks away from the ball, it's going to break the real fine root hairs. Those root hairs are real fine, 1/800th of an inch thick. So as the soil crumbles away from the ball, it can break those root hairs and put the tree under stress. So it'll have to redevelop those roots from the existing energy that it has, and sometimes it can really be take its toll on a relocated tree that's already under stress because it's being moved. So it's real critical that we are as gentle with that root ball as we possibly can. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig this hole out, at least twice the size of the root ball. The roots will establish in the first 8 to 10 inches of soil, and so by tapering or making a funnel shaped hole, as the tree establishes, it'll put out roots within that 8 to 10 inches of soil real quickly, and it'll establish a lot faster. The fine roots are what does all the work for a tree. They absorb all the nutrients. They absorb through the moisture in the ground, and so without the root hairs, the tree would not be able to survive. The big roots that you see, a lot of times you think about trees being associated with, those are anchor roots. Those anchor roots will hold the tree in the ground, but it's the fine root hairs that actually feed the tree. We're going to go ahead and dig this hole out. This site is real good. It's got the soil is not compacted. It's good quality soil. It's got a lot of moisture in it, so we should be able to dig this hole pretty quick, and then we'll move the tree over here and show you how we take the basket off and how we handle the burlap. All right, so we've got our hole dug, nice funnel shape, pretty wide. We're kind of limited. We kind of want to keep it pretty tight here. We're really good on the depth. We can knock the shoulder down a little wider. Definitely doesn't hurt to do that, but we got sufficient width on it now. One really easy way to know if you're deep enough is you take your shovel and lay it across the hole just to kind of get your reference, and then you take another shovel and you just check your depth by lining it up right here. And I'll just hold my hand and I'll come over here to the root ball, and then I'll take the shovel, lay it across the root ball, and we'll see where we're at. I'd rather go, like we said earlier, we like to go higher than we do deeper. If you're above grade by 2 or 3 inches, that's where you're supposed to be. Now this is kind of on a slope. This side of the hole over here is higher than this side of the hole, so that's what I'm going to pay attention to. I'm going to level my root ball. We'll add more soil to this side if we need to as we build our water well, and the tree will establish properly without having the root ball exposed. What I like to do with these trees is get them close to the hole, because once we start taking stuff off, we just want to really minimize disturbing this root ball. So you can use these wires and you can roll it. Now this is not a real light tree. This is probably a 250-pound root ball with moisture and all in it, so it's pretty heavy. But if you just kind of roll it and let the weight just kind of move itself, it won't be that hard to handle. I'm going to take this plastic off, just get the plastic out of the way. Something the nurseries do, they'll add a little plastic. I like to keep these box knives are great, but be sure that you fold them up so you don't cut yourself. What works for me is just a small handled pair of bolt cutters, and I'm going to take off the bottom rung right here, and we're going to just snip that off. These are great because they're short. You can get it all the way around the root. All right, so this takes the bottom off. If you have a really crumbly root ball and you're needing to keep some things together, what's the most important thing is you get as much burlap off as possible. If you stick this tree in the hole and the bottom part of the wire is still in the hole, it's okay. It's not going to likely cause any adverse effects to the tree, but you know, I like to do this as just part of just managing the planting as properly as possible. Just kind of lower it in like that. Okay, we're gonna throw a little dirt underneath it because we need to raise it up. When we start to take this wire off, take the burlap off, we're probably going to have to excavate just a little bit of soil from the top, and we want to be right in that 2 to 3 inches. I like to pile my dirt on 2 sides of the hole when I'm digging. It keeps it out of the way because I need room to work. I don't want to be working all over my piles of dirt, having things fall back in the hole. So we're looking pretty good. We're still not that straight. I'm going to kick a little more dirt in right here. Really hard to straighten a tree once it's been buried, so this is the time to just take your time with it. Okay, so now we're ready to cut off the twine. So here's something that sometimes gets overlooked and it's really lethal to a tree, is leaving the twine on the base. Now we're going to pull this basket off now. If all goes well, we're going to just snip up 2 sides. I'm going to snip it this way, I'm going to snip it that way, and it'll just pull off. This actually is going to come out pretty nice, so we didn't have to snip up the other side. Another advantage to making big wide shoulders, knocking these shoulders down, in addition to helping the tree plant correctly, gives you room to get in there with your tools and work. So what I'm going to do here, we're not going to get all this burlap. The bottom part of the burlap will still be on the tree, but I'm going to take this box knife and we're going to cut all the way around the base. And as we backfill, we're going to roll this burlap up so that we don't take it all off at once and that dirt just falls apart. So at this point, this ground is nice and fluffy. I'll just walk around it, stomp it in. Just trying to close those air pockets. All right, so now you can see we've been able to roll this burlap up. These one other thing I like about the hot wings maple is that they were developed in our Fort Collins area by Fort Collins growers. So these trees are already acclimated to the Front Range. They're already acclimated to our soils, and just a really cool tree. Okay, as you can see, we're a little high. It's the way I like them, and I'm going to just move off some of the soil here. Okay, so what we're going to do, the tree's been healed in, and we're going to use this excess soil. We're going to build a little water moat, give this thing a good drink, and it'll be set up and ready to grow. Okay, so this tree, we've got it all planted, got the berm built. Got a couple of 5-gallon buckets here. Let's add this 5 gallons. And what's really nice about the moat is that it can just take its time to percolate into the soil. Trees like to be watered slow and deep. So this 10 gallons will actually end up filling up this whole site. Okay, so we got the tree watered in, and we decided to stake it. I just using these T-posts. A lot of times we use wood post, and good thing about the wood post is that it will over time just decay, and you can just snap it off. You don't have to pull it out of the ground. Okay, the tree has a little bit of a lean to it, so I'm gonna, after we watered it, it settled some, and that's pretty normal. We like to leave these stakes on for about 2 to 3 years. I like to maintain a little bit of looseness. You have something like a conifer, a spruce tree, a pine tree that is going to capture a lot of wind. I do like to put 3 stakes on. I'll do a third, and that way no matter from where the wind blows from, the tree's got some support. Okay, well, I think this is it for today.